Well, Brad, it's so great to see you again from the ROG launch at Pitt Street Mall the other day, and congratulations on the new ROG Ally.
Yeah, thanks. It's really exciting. It's great to have you with us again today. But yeah, ROG Ally, it's here. It's almost here, but very, very exciting.
Well, this was also like an April Fool's joke that turned out to be real, right?
It was. It wasn't a lie, which was just amazing from the marketing team to call it that and end up actually calling it that. But April Fool's joke. It's a real product, and it is here with us today.
Yeah, well, I got the full video, nearly an hour long, with your presentation and also the presentation from Matt Carr from AMD. So a lot of great detail there. Now, we've seen a lot of demand for things like the Nintendo Switch and the Steam Deck, which has had, obviously, its availability issues. But how popular do you expect the Ally to be, given the strength of pester power from all those kids, but also all those adult gamers who will have their brains giving them a lot of pester power to buy this ASAP?
Yeah, look, we expect it to be very popular for the simple reason it'll be very accessible. So we will have it on shelf for sale, in June 13th. So it'll go live for pre-orders today. But in terms of the accessibility, you'll be able to walk into a store, purchase it off the shelf and walk out with it in your hands on that day. Or obviously you'll be able to purchase it online as well from our local retailers, but also our own ASUS store. Sure.
And you mentioned during your presentation that there should be no problem with availability. You've got a good amount of coming in, and hopefully it'll just continue going.
Yeah, exactly. We've really backed ourselves on the product. We expect it to do exceptionally well. So we have, thankfully, we've got some good shipping advice to know that it's going to be here on time when we need it to be. We've got that product ready to go for all the consumers to enjoy very, very soon.
Now, you showed in the video, again, people can watch that, must have been like 100 different variations of the form factor. Yeah. And that's something you've been working on, as you said, for 5 years. So, I felt it. You're 608 grams. You explained how you managed to get it down. That's all in the video. Yeah. So I want to know, is ASUS putting this up for a Red Dot Design Award, a good design award? I mean, this is going to win, in my book anyway, tons of awards.
Yeah, I think you might be right. It's definitely something that the head office marketing team would look into. But we're very fortunate. We do tend to win a number of awards globally every year. And usually off the back of events like CES and Computex as well. So I'm sure you'll start to see a few of those things come through very soon. Now,
again, this is all in the video, but just tell us the specs of the Z1 Extreme model and how this will differ to the specs of the Z1.
Yeah, so the Z1 Extreme is basically the top end variation of the new AMD Z1 processor. The non-extreme version is I guess a cut down version, if you like. But ultimately, it is still a very high performance APU as well. So the Extreme is the focus that we've launched today, and we will have that available straight away in the market from June 13. And then we will have plans to launch the other version of the Z1 in the second half of the year.
Sure. And the Z1 Extreme has got 16 gig of RAM and a 512 gig SSD. I know you can't confirm the memory or the storage of the other model, the Z1. But you also mentioned that the 16 gig of RAM is, I guess it's soldered to the motherboard, so you can't. Correct. But how upgradable is the SSD? What's the form factor of the SSD, and what does it mean for the warranty?
Yeah, so the SSD is upgradable, doesn't void the user warranty. Simple process of 5 or 6 screws on the back of the device. Take that off. You've then got the SSD just sort of on the left-hand side of the device if you're screwing down. And ultimately, it is a smaller SSD, so you do need to, when you're purchasing potentially a larger one, you need to make sure you purchase that smaller form factor size. But it is very much a simple process of a single screw out, in, put it back together, and away you go.
And I know that capacities for SSDs increase all the time, but do you know what's the biggest terabyte size you can get in this smaller SSD form factor? Because I'm sure some people would just say, yep, I want to upgrade to 1 terabyte or 2 terabytes. Or whatever.
Yeah, I'd say they'd be very comfortably be able to upgrade to a 1 terabyte drive. I guess the key is to make sure the physical size is correct, so that may become a bit of a limitation of whether you can go to 1 or 2 terabytes.
But then the chip makers like Samsung will just keep shrinking there.
They'll keep making it small and upgradable. So I'd say if it's not available right now, I'm sure it will be in the near future in some very large capacities.
Yeah. Now, how soon do you think it'll be before we see the ASUS ROG Ally appearing in TV shows and movies, just not only as the device that kids use to play games, but also some sci-fi movie where there's a hacker that's using that to break into something so they can save the world?
Yeah, hopefully it's soon, because product placement in these types of movies or even just normal TV shows is key. And I'd love to think that it will come to life in that regard. We've been fortunate. We have had a few products over the years in those types of things, but you never know. It might be sooner than we think.
Yeah, I mean, you might have some kid prodigy, and the bad guys just think it's a kid with a Nintendo Switch type device, and yet it's a full Windows computer, so they could hack into anything. And
there you go. There you go. The opportunities
defeat the aliens in the real world.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's Hollywood. It's not really the real world. So, what else do we need to know about the ASUS ROG Ally before we wrap up?
Yeah, sure. So I think as a brand, ASUS ROG is something that is a really important part of what we do, especially in the local Australian New Zealand market. And the Ally completes that family now. So we've got obviously our ROG gaming notebooks, ROG gaming desktops, also ROG gaming phones, and the fact that we now have a mobile console in the ROG Ally, it's really that last piece of the family that was missing, and we expect it to do exceptionally well. We're excited to bring it to Australian consumers easily, and New Zealand consumers as well very, very soon. And yeah, look, ultimately it's about making sure that we have a really cool device that people are really going to enjoy, and we think the ROG Ally will do that.
Well, Brad Howe, Head of Consumer ANZ at ASUS, thank you very much for taking the time. Thanks for launching this device. I'm also sure it's going to be massively popular.
Yeah.
And, it's great to see gaming is just so big these days.
Yeah, it really is. And people enjoy it. It's a way for people to escape. And I think, the fact that we've now got another device for people to do that, I think it's great for the consumer.
Wonderful. Well, best of luck and hope to see you again soon.
Thank you. Cheers.
Bye-bye.